my channel. This is Tita Lavinia of Titas of Pageantry, and for this episode, let me do a bit of a guessing game with you guys and try to figure out where the next venue of the 71st edition of Miss Universe will be held at. So please make sure to stick around. Please subscribe to the channel. I'm trying to hit 50,000, you guys, so please help me out. And please don't forget to hit that bell notification button for your weekly pageant fix. Hey guys, I hope that you're doing well. I know it isn't quite Sunday yet, but I want to give you a quick update on the 71st edition of Miss Universe because we at least have some concrete information about this. Now, for those of you who have been living under the rock, for those of you who have no idea what's going on in social media, the reason why I am doing this quick update for you was because yesterday, September 15, Miss Diane Castillejo of TV Patrol scored a short but exclusive interview with Miss Universe organization president, Miss Paula Sugart. Now, in the conversation, they were able to reveal some information that we've been waiting for. Unfortunately, there wasn't a reveal of a venue, but they did give us a little bit of hints, which I will be discussing a little later on. What was concrete, though, was an announcement that the 71st edition will definitely take place this coming January in 2023. Now, this comes as a relief, of course, because a lot of us expected that Miss Universe will be held in the first quarter of 2023. But the first quarter, guys, that's still 4 months. So a lot of us were really concerned that they might stretch out Harnaz's rule up until summer. And that's going to be too long. And that's going to be so sad for the next Miss Universe because she won't be able to maximize her reign. So usually Miss Universe falls around December. So to move it a little further, like January, I think it's still pretty reasonable. I think that whoever will be crowned come January will still at least have more time to enjoy her reign. Now, we really needed this information from Miss Universe because, of course, a lot of us are still supporting the organization. A lot of us are still fans. And, of course, we feel that we have a really strong contender this year. So even if Miss Universe has been bombarded with a lot of negativity from Harnaz's weight gain to rolling out this new policy of allowing married women with children to compete to talks on selling Miss Universe to the highest bidder, I think that we still need a little bit of good news because we still want to hold on to the idea that Miss Universe is going to be there for maybe the next 50 years. So we were really happy to find out that, they seem to still push through with the plans of hosting Miss Universe. But before I get into the possible venues, because they did not reveal this, I think they want to have like a more concrete grip on the arrangements. That's why they will be revealing this not till next week. But of course, that's not going to stop us from speculating. A lot of the ladies from this batch of Miss Universe are making their rounds at the headquarters because a lot of them are walking at New York Fashion Week or have walked at New York Fashion Week. Now, let me segue to your next question, Tita. What about Celeste Cortesi? Why wasn't she invited? Why wasn't she at the headquarters? Honestly, I really don't know. But this is also probably because the girls that you've been seeing doing the rounds and walking at New York Fashion Week, this is most likely because they have designers from their countries who invited them to walk at New York Fashion Week. So I suppose the local organizations did not pass up the chance to arrange this because they will be hitting two birds with one stone. So if they send their girl to walk at New York Fashion Week for their designer, then why not drop by the headquarters anyway, and why not get that, content for the gram, so to say. So for me, this really isn't problematic. This isn't an indicator that they're snubbing Celeste Cortesi. I don't know if we have a Filipino designer showing at New York Fashion Week. I don't know if she was invited. I don't know if they will even pursue this, and should they have gotten the invite. So I'm just saying that don't worry about this. Back in the day, we had the same feeling. We had the same bragging rights in 2018 when Kat was invited by Sherry Hill. I mean, we've gone down that path, and there have been instances that, the ladies who would drop by Miss Universe, they don't even get to play. So it's not an indicator, guys. It's really just bragging rights for the gram, for social media. But these ladies, they don't get brownie points for visiting the headquarters. I mean, it might be nice to see them in a different setting and then maybe get a glimpse on how they might compete or how they might measure up against another, competitor from another strong country. But it doesn't really mean anything. So Celeste could just stay in the Philippines, and she could continue appearing at events. She could continue with her training, and just leave the other ladies, to have fun in New York. It's not going to guarantee them a spot at the semifinals. So don't be too sore about this. Now let's move on to the venue. So yes, Paula did not mention where the next venue might be, but she did give us a hint. And she did say that it's a location where people will have fun. It's built for tourism, culture, and food. So let's decode this a little bit for you. So for the longest time, we thought that they were in negotiations with Costa Rica. Now, this was around 2019, 2020, up until 2021, if I'm not mistaken. No, that's a span of 3 years. Let's say 2021, because I absolutely forgot when they went to Costa Rica to, undergo a series of meetings. So we were so surprised that they picked Eilat, Israel. So I suppose it didn't push through with Costa Rica. So in the middle of Harnaz's rule, when we started thinking of the next venue, Costa Rica surfaced again because we thought that maybe in 2021 Costa Rica wasn't ready. Maybe in 2022 they might be ready. So the countries such as Costa Rica, Puerto Rico, as well as Dominican Republic surfaced. But if we're going to base this on Paula's clue, sure, it ticks the box for fun, it ticks the box for culture, probably doesn't tick the box for food, because I'm thinking about food culture in countries such as Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, or even Costa Rica, and I can't think of something that's globally recognized in terms of cuisine. So maybe we can cross this one out. And I'm pretty sure it's not going to be in Puerto Rico as well, because I have read comments coming from folks from Puerto Rico saying, no, it's not going to be held in our country. Because usually, guys, you kind of know, just like how we felt in 2017 when they were thinking of a venue for Miss Universe. I mean, if I'm going to give you a reference on Game of Thrones, there were little birds, telling us about the venue or the staging that will be pushing through in the Philippines, but there doesn't seem to be any buzz at all. So I suppose we can cross out Costa Rica, Dominican Republic, and Puerto Rico. So now let's move on to something that we've been dreading. Well, not really dreading, but something that, we've been there, we've done that. And these are, of course, talks zeroing in on Miami and Las Vegas. Because as we all know, guys, when all else fails, when it comes to negotiations, for venue, I guess the easiest way to go about this is to go back to Miami or to go back to Florida or to go back to Las Vegas. But it's super fun at these places. Food is really good, but maybe culture is lacking. So I suppose we can cross out these two places because, yeah, other places in the Caribbean have also surfaced, but the culture part is missing. So maybe we can look the other way. Now let's zero in on the Philippines because Paula did say fun, and it's more fun in the Philippines. But I honestly don't think it's going to be in the Philippines though, because first of all, we're not quite as open. We just ditched the mask a few days ago. So I don't think we have the capacity, the facility, even the funding to go for this right now. And unless, they tap someone really crazy and willing to spend that much money. So I don't think that it's going to be in the Philippines. You might argue, but Tita, we have the venue, we have people who are interested. I mean, yes, I understand there are talks of Miss International going to be held in the Philippines this coming 2023. I have heard, of course, that Mr. International will be held in the Philippines in November. But guys, you have to understand, this is Miss Universe. So This will involve around 80 to 90 candidates, and this is going to be a large scale operation. We've seen this in 2017. It's not easy. It's not an easy feat at all, you guys. So if there are talks as early as September about Miss Universe being held in the Philippines, then we should be hearing this as early as now. And so far, it's been pretty quiet. So I guess just because, we are still recovering from the pandemic. We're, I think, one of the last few countries who are just, really pushing for recovery. Most of the countries, especially in the West, it seems that they've overcome COVID, but that is not the case here in this country. We still have a lot to work on before we invite these folks back to the Philippines. So now let's move on to the top three main contenders for the next venue. And to be honest, I am really very excited about these three. So first up, Thailand. Thailand definitely checks fun, definitely checks culture, definitely checks tourism, definitely checks food. Now, why don't I think Thailand might actually go for it? There really isn't a lot of buzz. I mean, of course, there are so many things that are happening in Thailand. I think that they're very celebratory of their Thai queens, but I'm not so sure if they are also quite ready in staging another huge event, because they just did that in 2018. So probably not Thailand, but if it ends up in Thailand, I mean, I would be super happy. It's super easy for a lot of Filipinos to go there and support our girls. So my personal take is that it's not going to be in Thailand, but if it is in Thailand, I will be so happy. I mean, I've seen a lot of the tourist spots featured in Thailand, also from 2018. I think that they did a really good job with that. But you know what? I'm still not sick of it. I still want more. So if they choose Thailand, I'm all for it. However, a lot of the clues are pointing towards Vietnam. Now, I'm not gonna fight this if this happens, because Vietnam has been pouring a lot of money at these competitions. It's so glossy. Their girls are so glossy, and the girls that they invite are also so glossy. We've seen how they welcomed Miss Grand International. We've seen how they've arranged things for Miss World, and just very recently, or not recently, but just back in June, they invited a number of Miss Universe winners to witness the crowning of their representative. And not only that, Paula Sugar, the president, as well as the new CEO, Amy Emmerich, went down to Vietnam, and that almost doesn't happen, you guys. I mean, whenever the reigning queen would have judging responsibilities, and whenever she would go to different countries, I mean, she usually has a chaperone, Esther, of course, and there would be times that they would travel maybe with Sean, the vice president, but this hasn't been done before. So a lot of people started speculating that maybe they're doing a bit of an ocular, maybe they're checking things out. And it's just really telling for the two highest executives of Miss Universe went down to Vietnam to maybe check things out. So as for fun, there are so many things that you can do in Vietnam right now. Cafe culture is really thriving there, as well as, tourism is thriving as well. Culture, I mean, it's Vietnam. We cannot argue with culture. There's Southeast Asia there. There's a bit of Chinese and a lot of French. So culture definitely is a check. And food, I mean, come on. Let's talk about banh mi. Let's talk about yummy Vietnamese coffee. So I think that Vietnam really ticks the box, and I think that this is a really great venue concerning the Filipinos. It's easier for us to go to Vietnam as well, easier for us to support our girl. At the end of the day, we just want someone to support our girl. And one of the noisiest contenders these days, surprisingly, is actually New Orleans, Louisiana. Now, Louisiana is, of course, in the United States. If you're familiar, it's a really great place for culture. It does have a tourism industry that's thriving. It's a great place in the US to experience culture. And with all that, Creole and French influences. They've done so much when it comes to really promoting the cuisine in the area. So I think that this is a great place that ticks all of the boxes as well. And there have been admins who are closer to Miss Universe, who have um, sources at Miss Universe, who have been giving us hints that, yeah, it might be pointed towards Louisiana this time. And you know what? I really wouldn't be opposed to this idea. When we talk about the United States, and I'm not really such a big fan of, the whole move. I remember growing up, people would like ask, where would you like to go if you get the chance to go to the United States? And I would be one of those students who would usually say, I'm not going to go to the United States. I'm going to stay here. I'm going to learn about the country, but I'm not really keen on traveling to the US. But if there really was one place that I would love to visit, I would love to visit Louisiana. And I suppose because growing up, my best friend and I, we were fans of Anne Rice. We were fans of, um, you know, the vampire culture. So we really got into that whole New Orleans vibe. So I am really going to be super happy if they announce New Orleans as the venue. Now, of course, this wouldn't be a Tita Lavinia channel content if there isn't a little bit of trivia thrown. So yeah, why not Louisiana? Because did you know that the first Filipino settlers in the United States actually settled at a lake area called St. Malo in Louisiana at around 1763 up until 1765? We don't have an exact record of this because these Filipinos, which were called Manila men, they were actually slaves that deserted from the Manila galleon trade, and they eventually found their way in Louisiana and established a settlement there, established a fishing settlement there. Unfortunately, the area is already lost because as early as 1915, there was a hurricane that destroyed the Filipino settlement. But I think right now there is still a marker that it still exists. So if Miss Universe happens to take place in Louisiana, I don't know, maybe there will be a little bit of Filipino magic. Maybe there will be a little bit of that Filipino good luck in there, or that Filipino charm that might just help our very own Celeste Cortesi. So I'm going to wrap this one up for you guys. Do let me know what you think. Let me know where Miss Universe might be headed, knowing that I've given you culture, fun, tourism, food, and crossed out all of the other venues that might just not work. So do let me know. What do you think? I will see you this coming Sunday. Goodbye.